Audience members of the jury, thank you all for joining us. The issue we are here to address today concerns us with the actions of Japan taken towards Manchuria, China, the Philippines, Vietnam, and others in Southeast Asia, and whether or not the current Japanese government should formally apologize and offer reparations. Now we look towards the prosecution. Please present your case.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today because of the events that occurred during World War II in Asia. These events are those surrounding the crimes affecting families of people today. Commonly, World War II in Asia was thought to have begun after Imperial Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. But what the Western countries do not realize is that the war had already begun raging for a decade prior. What we refer to as the Asia-Pacific War began on September 18, 1931. This is when the Imperial Japanese Army invaded and occupied Manchuria, which is an area in northeastern China. Now, while the invasion of Manchuria, which officially marked the start of the war, the roots of the conflict are evident in the decades of events prior to this culminating event. We are here today because these people who have been victims of these inhumane crimes, such as biological and chemical warfare, forced labor, genetic testing, rape, and mass slaughters, deserve a meaningful and sincere apology from the Japanese government and passed through Japanese parliament.
Objection, Your Honor. Judge Kamei, to understand Japan's actions, we must recount the actions of the 1800s. Japan is a small island country with a few natural resources. The rest of Asia had already been colonized by Western powers. The rest of the West has an overwhelming military and technical strength, which present a significant threat. Further, Your Honor, we hold Japan to a much higher standard than we do to the rest of the West. We take this into account while reviewing the evidence. That being said, I would like to bring up my witness, a historian, to recount the historic events that occurred.
Japan's conquest began in the late 1800s, when they attempted to colonize Korea. This led to the first Sino-Japanese War of 1894 to 95. Japan's military was now equipped with arms and ships, and it defeated Chinese land and sea forces in Korea, Manchuria, and at the Yellow Sea. The unequal peace treaty awarded the Japanese government a payment in damages worth 5 times the Japanese annual budget, and also possession of Taiwan, China. 10 years later, the British and the US helped Japan in its war with Russia from 1904 to 1905. At the end of this war, Japan extended its colonial presence. This helped them to seize control over parts of Manchuria from China and the southern half of Sakhalin Island from Russia. They also obtained full control over Korea. And another decade later, Japan took part in the First World War. This allowed them to gain former German properties in China.
On September 18, 1931, the Japanese military officers stationed in northeastern China, Manchuria, blamed an explosion of the Southern Manchurian Railway near my village. The Japanese military officers accused the Chinese soldiers, giving them a reason to invade us. The Japanese took over Manchuria in 1932, making it a puppet state called Manchukuo. While keeping up with the news, I found that the League of Nations had condemned Japan for the aggression towards my home country.
I remember the hard year of 1937 when Japan and Italy formed the Axis power. That same year, I was visiting China during the month of July. On July the 7th, at the outskirts of Beijing, conflict began to rise. Japanese troops fought against Chinese troops near the Marco Polo Bridge. Japan invaded China and then captured Shanghai and Nanking. For approximately 8 weeks, I witnessed many unfortunate events. Imperial soldiers killed tens of thousands of Chinese civilians and did inhumane activities. Innocent people were mistreated terribly. I saw Japanese soldiers behead Chinese people and brutally attack them. Women and young girls were raped. We even refer this as the rape of Nanking. It was an awful and terrifying time period.
Then the European War broke out in 1939. Japan depended on the rest of Asia to make sure that they had a supply of natural resources. Imperial expansion continued in Asia under the guise of liberating Asia from Western domination. The Japanese military committed horrific crimes against humanity along the way, including murder, rape, military sexual slavery, human experimentation in chemical and biological warfare, and forced labor. This was done on both prisoners of war and civilians.
It is important to remember that when World War II was raging in Europe, the Japanese army invaded Indochina in 1940 and replaced the French colonial power with the Japanese one. The Western countries, including the US, Britain, the Netherlands, and Canada, placed economic sanctions on Japan for doing what Europeans have done for centuries. Japan then decided to get rid of Asia, of these foreign powers, to win back control of Asia. When the US blocked oil sales to Japan, Japan decided to attack the US bases at Pearl Harbor and the Philippines. At the same time, Japan attacked Hong Kong, Malaya, and other countries in the region in order to gain the oil that the Americans denied them. The end of the war was on August 15, 1945, after the US, with the support of Britain and Canada, dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. Signs of Imperial Japan's defeat appeared when US economy and technology proved to be more superior, and the joint efforts of the Allied forces made them stronger. On August 6th and the 9th, when the 2 atomic bombs hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki, over 200,000 Japanese civilians died. These attacks, plus the USSR's declaration of war on Japan, finally put an end to 14 years of war in Asia.
You, the jury, will today witness the discussion of the many cases involving the Asia-Pacific War. It is your duty as the jury to make a final verdict as to whether or not the Japanese Parliament should pass an apology resolution and whether or not the current Prime Minister of Japan should apologize for alleged injustice inflicted on the people of Japanese occupied territories and the prisoners of war of the Allies.